Now at 9, the only suspect convicted in the disappearance of 2 girls from Welch, Oklahoma more than 20 years ago is released from prison. Plus, how the 4-state farm show in Pittsburgh is connecting farmers with scientists. And area organizations gather for dedication of Joplin's Hope Memorial.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. Authorities in Joplin say a man tried to abduct a child at yesterday's Thursday event. Police got a call about the attempted abduction just after 9 last night. They say a 5-year-old girl was by a bounce house near 3rd and Main when a man grabbed her. The girl's mother and bystanders confronted the man and prevented him from getting away. The man, 28-year-old Johnny Arhart, was arrested and has been charged with child kidnapping with no bond. The child was unharmed. The only living suspect in the 1999 disappearance of Loriah Bible and Ashley Freeman in Northeast Oklahoma has been released from prison. Ronnie Busick was released at 6:30 this morning. A judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison after he pled guilty to accessory to murder. He served 2 years and 4 months of that sentence. He will now serve 5 years probation, one of which will be supervised. The case began in 1999 when investigators discovered the bodies of Danny and Kathy Freeman inside their burning home in Welch. Authorities soon learned the couple's daughter, 16-year-old Ashley Freeman, and her friend, 16-year-old Loriah Bible, were missing. For 24 years, authorities have searched different areas of Northeast Oklahoma and other surrounding states in hopes of finding the girls' remains. However, nothing has been found. And now to weather, Chloe Arroyo joins us with the first look.
Yeah, well, as you all know today, it has been a wet one throughout the entire day, and luckily we're on the tail end of that rain, pushing off to the east just along and south of I-44 is where we're seeing that rain left over. Taking a wider look, we had a lot of rain, which wasn't the best, but we didn't get that severe weather with that. That's mainly for our viewers a little further south and even out of our viewing area. That's where they saw the most severe weather. So we head into this afternoon and evening. Now temperatures are actually going to feel a little on the chillier side as we head into tonight. We'll see our temperatures dip down into the upper 40s and even topping out to the 60s by the time we head into the mid-morning hours. Now coming up in here in a bit, we're going to talk about the lovely weekend ahead as well as the storm breakdown throughout the week and then the summertime temps. I'll have all of that information coming up here in just a bit.
The Newton and McDonald County Cattlemen's Association and Harry S. Truman Coordinator Council today hosted a forum on the Environmental Protection Agency's 503 rule on biosolids. The biosolids are a product of wastewater treatment process where during the process liquids are separated from the solids. The terms biosolids and sewage sludge are often used interchangeably. One use for them in agriculture. The EPA says they can be used to provide nutrients, improve soil structure, and provide water reuse. Some advocates say biosolids aren't good for the environment.
So this federal rule is misleading to farmers, and we are really here about sharing facts. We've been researching for a little over 6 years and just want to share some truth, some facts.
The EPA's 503 rule states requirements for the use of the disposal of biosolids are when they're applied to land in conditioned soil or fertilized crops, are placed of a surface disposal site for a final disposal, or fired in biosolids incinerator. The 4-state farm show kicked off today on the campus of Pitt State. This is the 48th year of the farm show. Every year it brings in hundreds of vendors and industry experts showcasing the latest farming equipment and technology. The event is free to everyone. It's located at the Plaster Center at Pitt State. It will reopen tomorrow at 8 a.m. and run until 4 p.m. Then on Sunday, it will run from 8 to 3 p.m. Hundreds of exhibitors have set up displays here at the 4-state farm show. One hosted a discussion bringing farmers and ranchers and scientists together. KOAM Shagun Bondoli has more.
The National Institute for Material Advancement at Pitt State today held a 1-hour workshop during the 4-state farm show.
We are focused in material science, so polymers and plastics is primarily our area of focus. We do a lot of work in bio-based materials, so we're very much in sustainable materials.
The workshop is called FAMS, which stands for Farmers Accelerating Research, in material science.
And what that actually is doing is bringing scientists in, and this is our third time to do this. We've been partnering with Virginia Tech, partnering with Arizona State, and we bring the farmers in to meet with the scientists and talk about the challenges.
One scientist says polymer science will be used to help farmers recycle more efficiently.
Polymers are just plastics, and so if we can find a solution on how to use a bio-based polymer using recyclable ag products, that would be one. Or maybe we have a lot of plastic totes or a lot of hay netting that's plastic. Can we recycle those into the environment?
Elwig says building connections with local farmers will help the local economy.
So the local farmers are the ones with the issues, and so we're working really close with them because we want to solve their problem and build up the economy with the local farmers here.
In Pittsburgh, Segun Bamdele, KOAM News.
And the workshop will run through Sunday. The Coffeyville, Kansas Historical Society is receiving $100,000 in a grant. It's part of the state park revitalization and investment in notable tourism program. The society says it'll use the grant to revitalize and upgrade the Dalton Defenders Museum and the Brown Mansion, providing a better experience for visitors. The Salvation Army of Jasper and Newton County, along with Active Lifestyles event in Joplin Memorial Run, held a dedication for the Joplin Hope Memorial today. The dedication was in remembrance of the May 2011 tornado. The 7-foot by 14-foot memorial was made out of debris from the tornado by a group of Kansas City artists.
Just to show the community that we are caring, that we are supportive, even though it's been through a tragedy time, that we are here to showing that the Army is supporting those who have lost their lives and suffered through the storm itself.
The memorial included written hopes and prayers from the community. Coming up, the FDA gives its recommendation on whether the RSV vaccine is safe for pregnant women to take. The potentially deadly virus called RSV poses serious risk for people 60 and over and children less than a year old. And while the Food and Drug Administration recently approved the first ever RSV vaccine to shield older adults from some of the most severe symptoms of the virus, a growing number of parents are eager for their newborns to also receive protection. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten takes a closer look.
Hope could be around the corner for people who want to help protect their babies from the virus known as RSV. On Thursday, members of the Food and Drug Administration Advisory Panel backed a first-of-its-kind RSV vaccine for pregnant people. If cleared, the new shot from Pfizer would be given to women between 24 and 36 weeks of pregnancy.
Vaccinate mothers who can then pass on those protective antibodies to their infants.
RSV stands for respiratory syncytial virus, and while most people who catch it can suffer cold-like symptoms, it can pose severe health risks for infants less than a year old, especially those born prematurely and babies with underlying heart and lung problems.
And cause significant amount of respiratory distress, as well as leading to hospitalization and even death.
During an international study of Pfizer's shot, researchers say it was 82% effective at preventing severe RSV infections in babies during their first 3 months of life. At 6 months, analysts say the shot was nearly 70% effective at offering protection from critical illness.
RSV typically hits in the late fall and peaks in the wintertime. We saw a record number of RSV infections in children's hospitals last year, especially in the early fall.
The FDA will now review the advisory panel's backing of the shot's effectiveness as it decides whether to approve the injection in the future. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
The CDC is urging high-risk adults who've gotten just one shot of the Mpox vaccine to get another one. That's based on 3 new studies of the disease formerly known as monkeypox. Research shows a second dose could boost efficacy by double digits. Usually, the Mpox vaccine is administered in 2 rounds, but single doses helped stretch the supply during last year's outbreak. Now, Mpox cases are down, but concern is growing they could rise again this summer. Chloe is back with a complete look at the forecast and later in sports. We'll hear from the MSSU baseball team after their regional tournament opener win yesterday.
Well, it sure has been a gloomy day outside. Definitely a day where you want to bring your book out and get in front of that fireplace. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. You can't see it as well right now since it is dark out there, but the ground is still suffering from that rain that we saw, but so are those air temperatures. A lot cooler than what we have been seeing, hanging around currently in the mid 50s, hanging around maybe even the upper 50s as we head a little further south. Grove topping out at 60 degrees as of right now. Now let's take a look at this rain that we've got going on. It's a little pushed out of our region right now. Our viewing area is pretty much in the clear as you head a little further south and east. You still have some rain, but that's not going to last much longer. Taking a wider look at this storm system, a little further south is where you're seeing that severe weather down in Arkansas. It was in Oklahoma just a couple hours ago, so a mighty large system, and thankfully we didn't see the severe threat from that. We just saw a lot of heavy rain which affected our roads as well. Let's take a look at our future track with this. We've got cooler temperatures as we head into Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, up into the upper 40s to lower 50s, and then we'll reach up into the 60s and nearing the 70s as we head into our Saturday afternoon across the board. 73 for Parsons, 73 for Chanute as well, and then you know the drill. Once again, we'll dip down into those upper 40s to lower 50s as we head into Sunday morning, and then we'll even warm up even more as we head into Sunday afternoon into the mid 70s, 75 pretty much across the board. Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, even up in Iola at 75 as well. We'll dip down into the mid 50s as we head into Monday morning as well. So pretty seasonal, a little on the warmer side, and that warm trend is going to continue to increase. But for our weekend, a beautiful weekend expected. We'll see temperatures in the upper 60s and even in the lower 70s for Sunday. So we'll start out a little chilly on Saturday, and then we'll warm up on Saturday afternoon as well as Sunday afternoon too. Now here's a breakdown of the storm systems that we'll get to see this week. We'll have a lot of chances for rain, especially Tuesday evening. That'll push off to our east once again, and then we'll see some more early Thursday morning before we get a break into Friday evening is when we'll see our next chance for precipitation leaning into the rest of the weekend. Now for tonight, we'll see temperatures dipping down into the 40s, but once again warming up by the mid-morning hours into the 60s. So let's take a look at the overall breakdown of this week. It's pretty consistent in terms of temperatures, but it's also pretty consistent in terms of chances for precipitation. For pretty much Tuesday through Sunday, we'll see a chance for rain. Nothing severe, but still we'll be seeing that rain pretty frequent.
Yeah, you had made that comment about getting in front of the fireplace and getting that book out. Today's weather was pretty fall reminiscent, for sure.
It really was. It was not seasonal for this time of year, but luckily we'll switch gears as we head into the weekend.
For sure.
So,
all right, thank you, Chloe.
Yeah.
Large plumes of smoke are billowing from a fire at a Kansas City recycling plant. Kansas City fire crews were called to Advantage Metals Recycling Friday morning after a massive fire broke out in an industrial section of the plant. Fire crews are working to extinguish the blaze, but say a lack of water is making it difficult. The closest fire hydrant is nearly a half a mile away from the plant. Coming up, new data shows some promising signs for the housing market. We'll take a look at what that means for homeowners and buyers. A slew of new housing data shows some promising signs. Mortgage rates, which rose sharply last year amid the U.S. Federal Reserve's aggressive measures to tackle inflation, are finally stabilizing below 6.5%. Karen Kaifa tells us what this means for the current home buying and home owning landscape.
The housing market has been on a wild ride. 2021 saw near record low mortgage rates boosting demand for single-family homes, resulting in bidding wars that sent home prices skyrocketing.
Many buyers were rushing to benefit from the low mortgage rates.
Meanwhile, labor shortages, supply chain issues, and rising costs took a toll on builders, slowing new construction. But aggressive actions taken by the U.S. Federal Reserve to counter inflation doubled interest rates by late last year.
Activity really slowed down. in 2022, and we have not seen much of a rebound thus far in 2023.
To accommodate those more expensive loans, home prices have been falling in some places, but on average, April saw the biggest drop since 2012. And while sales remain sluggish, there still aren't enough properties on the market.
Overall, there's a sense that there's the demand there, but inventory is still really tight.
But that may soon be changing. New single-family home starts are on the rise, along with builder confidence, according to data from the National Association of Home Builders.
In the resale market, many homeowners have got a really good interest rate, and they don't want to give that up to move. So new construction has become the more popular choice these days.
As rates and home prices come down, industry experts say people can still achieve the American dream.
The dream of homeownership for Americans will always be alive and well. Sometimes it's just a little more challenging to get there.
Target is recalling nearly 5 million candles because they could cause lacerations or burns. The recall is for Threshold branded glass jar candles sold in multiple sizes and various scents. The Consumer Product Safety Commission received reports of the jars breaking or cracking during use. The candles can be returned to any Target store or by mail for a full refund. General Motors is recalling nearly 700,000 Chevy Equinoxes and GMC Terrains from model years 2020 to 2023. A problem with the anchor bars can prevent child seats from being installed. And Ford Motor is recalling more than 422,000 vehicles for a second time to fix malfunctioning rear cameras. Up next, a sweet treat that could break your wallet. We'll take a look at the dessert and where you can find it. You might scream when you see the price of this ice cream. A Japanese ice cream will definitely scoop out some of the cash from your wallet. The Kalado brand called Byakuya costs $6,696 just for one scoop. It's been given the Guinness World Record for the world's most expensive ice cream. The treat contains edible gold leaf, white truffle brown in Alba, Italy, and Parmigiano Reggiano. Gelato says it took a year and a half to get the flavor just right. Man, that ice cream better be from heaven above, costing that much money. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. How a military museum in Miami has brought history to life after starting off as a single room. Plus, how a historical mining landmark in southeast Kansas is celebrating 60 years since it started operating. A small military museum in Miami, Oklahoma has grown into so much more. The Miami Legion Post 147 started as a small room full of history, but as KOAM's Carrie Worthen explains, it's now a door to the past.
Without our veterans, we wouldn't be able to do what we do today, because they're the ones that fought, that gave us the freedom to stand here and do this today.
What started out as a small military museum in the town of Miami, Oklahoma, Legion, in 2012, grew to a much larger collection due to the funding from Glenn Pitts, who started the museum, and J&M Farms.
We had about a 10 by 10 room, and now we've got actually 3 rooms that we've added to this. So it's grown substantially. We're working on funding right now to actually try to expand it, to add some more stuff to it.
Some of the items date all the way back to the Civil War.
The goal of this place is to let everybody understand that even today, our veterans are still important. They need to understand that the military history of the military.
The Miami Legion is in the process of getting more funds to expand the museum to show the importance of history.
From the Tuscomani Airmen, there was a segregated black group in World War II that flew planes and turned into the best pilots of World War II, to the women's job during World War II, where they were actually a nurse or a secretary, and that's all they could, that's what their job was. Today, now we have fighter pilots, admirals of ships, and everything. So you have to understand that that's the history of the job.
May says that everything is on loan in the museum and kept track of.
This is a job that people now decide to take to help better this nation. It's not all about fighting in war. I mean, it's about how to keep this country what it is.
You can find more information about the museum on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Another museum, this one in Webb City, is putting history on a smaller scale. The Freedom of Flight Museum hosted a presentation on the evolution of fighter planes. People are able to check out this history up close and personal thanks to model planes researched and built by Webb City native David Joines. Joines shared his studies and expertise on the planes.
It's pretty much the same process, and I'm a big believer in using liquid glues now. And I don't use an airbrush. I did for a while. I use spray paint cans because the airbrush takes you longer to clean it than to use it. So it's a pain in the butt.
Joines has been building model aircraft for more than 60 years. Big Brutus today celebrated 60 years of operation. The giant mining shovel was built in 1962. It operated for more than a decade, increasing the efficiency of local mining in southeast Kansas before being retired in 1974. Now it serves as a symbol of the history of mining in the area. Today's event included fun for the whole family, live music, food trucks, inflatables, and ended with a beer garden.
Oh, they come, and we've not had one disappointed person come through them doors. And men, women, and children. We had 2 or 3 old ladies come. We had a whole busload of ladies, probably in their 70s and 80s, maybe 90s, come yesterday. And I went up and talked to them. Oh, they were so excited.
Man, lots of enthusiasm. The fun, though, will continue tomorrow. It'll include an appearance by Casey Wolf, a barrel train, and a discussion with former coal miners. About a week has passed since Title 42 ended. The people who successfully entered the country need somewhere to stay, and it's where a new housing program can help. Fox News multimedia reporter Ashley Soriano reports from San Diego.
The San Diego-Tijuana border wall behind me is very calm compared to this time last week and compared to previous expectations of a surge, but still non-governmental organizations which help provide resources like housing are at their own capacity. San Diego isn't the final destination for many of the people crossing, but they still need somewhere to stay while they're here. 2 groups, the International Refugee Committee and Safe Harbors Network, partnered to launch a host family program this month. They're looking for individuals and families in the area or anyone who has vacant property here to share their homes for 3 to 6 months. They'll undergo a background check and home screening. The organizations say this is a preventative effort for the potential need for more housing. IRC helps refugees and asylum seekers with case management services once they've crossed. That includes job training, housing, and more. They're working on 30 cases right now, which is their max capacity.
We're constantly transitioning cases, so as soon as a family or individual has received their 1 year of case management services, we'll close out the case and enroll a new family. What we're aiming for with this program is having safe spaces for our clients to be in.
The IRC says they're seeing a big impact on the Mexican side of the border because of new policies restricting access to asylum at the legal ports of entry. They say shelters in Tijuana are at max capacity. And host families can get a tax-deductible receipt for the rent they donated depending on how long they hosted a family. And anyone interested in participating in this program can reach out to IRC San Diego by email. In San Diego, Ashley Soriano, Fox News.
A bit later, saving a vital part of America's pastime.
Did you know there's a Little League umpire shortage out there? Because parents in the stands not treating them very well. We'll be back in just a moment to tell you what one community in New Jersey is doing about it.
If you don't like the weather now, then wait 5 minutes and it'll be completely different. That's very true to today versus tomorrow. Let's take a look at our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just west of Seneca, Missouri. See the remnants of the rain still on the pavement right here. That's because we've had quite a bit of rain this afternoon into this evening. Current temperatures are also kind of struggling from that. We saw a little bit of cooler air coming in with that storm system, so we've got a lot of cooler temperatures hanging around into the mid to upper 60s across the board. So a little on the chilly side as you head out into this evening. So we still have some rain into our viewing area, but far southeast and just south of I-44 is where they're seeing that rain pushing off into Missouri and Arkansas. So Oklahoma, Kansas, you guys are in the clear as we head into this evening. But let's take a look at this wider range view of this storm system. It's a pretty large system that we've got. We had a lot of rain in our viewing area, but as you head further south, you'll notice a lot of different icons going on. That's indicative of that severe weather that they saw this afternoon, still going on as we speak. So thankfully we didn't see that severe weather, but just to show how big of a system this storm was, and we only saw the rain portion of it. So let's take a look at our future track. We'll see lower 40s to upper 50s as we head into Saturday morning. And then for your high on Saturday, we'll see temperatures reaching up into the 60s and even into the 70s as we head into Saturday afternoon around 4:30. And then once again, you know the drill. We'll see those temperatures dip down into the upper 40s to lower 50s Sunday morning. And then once again, we'll warm up, but warm up even more into the mid 70s, 75 for Pittsburgh as well as Fort Scott. Even Grove down there at 77 degrees on Sunday. And as we head into Monday as well, we'll see those temperatures into the mid 50s as you wake up in the morning. So a little bit of a chilly start to your day. But that'll warm up pretty quickly, and that's the same case as we head into tomorrow morning. We'll have a chilly start to the day, and then we'll warm up into the upper 60s to lower 70s on Saturday, and then we'll warm up even more on Sunday, feeling pretty nice in the 70s. So we'll warm up on Sunday and even more throughout the week. I'll talk about that here in just a second. Let's take a look at our future track. Tuesday will kick us off for the first round of rain, and then we'll still see some more as we head into Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. We'll also see that on Friday heading into the weekend as well. So quite a bit of precipitation going on as we head into this week. Temperatures in the upper 40s as we head into tomorrow morning and reaching into the 60s by the time we head into the mid-morning and afternoon hours. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. Once again, these temperatures very consistent, but also that chance for precipitation mighty consistent as well. So pretty much Tuesday through Sunday is when we're going to see that rain. But hey, if you like those warm temperatures, then have at it.
Definitely looking forward to the warmer temperatures, and for our farmers in the area, finally getting some precipitation consistently.
Yes, it's definitely covering our drought conditions for sure.
All right, thank you, Chloe. Coming up in sports, the Pitt State men's track and field team aims to repeat as national champions. Plus, Missouri Southern baseball picks up a big win in the open of the Central Region Tournament. And Jacob Leonard has post-game reaction from last night's win over Arkansas Tech after this.
The Missouri Southern baseball team is hosting a regional tournament this week for the first time in 31 years. Last night, the Lions won their tournament opener in Joplin, beating Arkansas Tech 4-3. Now in that game last night, catcher Chayton Beck came up big for Missouri Southern. Beck had the go-ahead two-run homer in the 8th that gave the Lions their 4-3 win. And that was obviously the biggest play of the night, but Beck, great behind the plate all night too. Caught two Arkansas Tech runners stealing second and was pretty much a wall back there all night.
Defense is the biggest part of my game. Even when I'm not hitting, I know I can throw a ball. I can help my team out by keeping people off of second base. As long as I'm doing that, I can be happy with whatever happens with the outcome.
He's a weapon back there with his arm, and he really kind of stifles the running game and, makes coaches really think twice whether they should go or not. And, so that is the best part of his game. But he blocked a lot of good balls tonight, too, and he had a great game.
Minnesota State Mankato, but that game has been postponed due to weather. Instead, these two teams will hit the field at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning in Joplin. The Division II Track and Field Outdoor National Championships are next week in Pueblo, Colorado. The Pittsburgh State Gorillas have 23 athletes qualified for nationals. On the women's side, Pitt State is ranked 7th in the nation. On the men's side, the Gorillas are the defending national champs and ranked number 1 in the country. So they are the favorites and they have high expectations, but that's just the way they like it.
We enjoy it 100%. I mean, that's what we're here for, and it's not arrogance, it's just confidence in what we're able to do and what we're capable of doing. I mean, that is a privilege to be in the spotlight where we're at, and so we have to be able to handle that. And that's why we have great athletes like Cordell Tinch and LJ Kiner and Hunter Jones. Those guys will step up when we need to, and that's why they are who they are. because they are the guys that will compete and they'll do what they need to do and what's asked of them at the right time, at the most important time.
Well, after a slow start to the season, the St. Louis Cardinals have figured out how to win some games in the last few weeks. The Cardinals have won 9 of their last 11, including Game 1 of their series against the Dodgers last night. Tonight is Game 2 of the series between St. Louis and LA. That one actually still going with the Cardinals down 1-0 in the top of the 8th. The Kansas City Royals also in action tonight. They try for their 3rd straight win in their series opener against the Chicago White Sox. The Royals managed just 1 hit on the night. They fall in this one 1-0. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
The National Umpire Association says umpires in youth baseball and softball leagues have been on the decline. The trend comes after videos spread online showing parents berating and even assaulting umpires and other parents. To combat the problem, one New Jersey town has devised a solution that puts the shoe on the other foot for the mitt in this case. Fox business correspondent Jeff Flock has more.
Here at the ball fields in Deptford Township, New Jersey, the Little League is governed by a code of conduct which says any acts of violence or unruly behavior toward the umpires won't be tolerated. You could be punished by up to a year's suspension. But here, as well as elsewhere around the country, that hasn't stopped parents from getting out of control. Take a look at some of the scenes at some local Little Leagues around the country. Yeah, parents accosting the umpires, taunting them, even getting physical, violent with them. That has led to the loss of about 20,000 umpires at the high school level, volunteer umpires. At Little League level, even more umpires lost. And so here in Deptford Township, what they did is said, yeah, we could suspend you for a year, or we'll let you be an umpire out there and see what it's like and what these guys have to deal with. The idea is Don Bazuffi's.
We're not going to lose any more umpires, and we had to put our foot down at some point. So we're going to give them the option, instead of being barred from our facility for a year, they can come out here, agree to, and complete 3 umpiring assignments so they could see what it's like out there.
Yeah. Since you've implemented this program, what's happened?
Everything's been good so far, and I'm hoping it stays that way. I'm hoping this is a deterrent, but you never know. Some people are going to test the waters. I don't know.
But you say most parents are good parents, setting a good example for their kids, but some people don't. And it seems to be increasing. What's that about?
It's like anything else in life. There's always a small percentage of people that are going to push the envelope, and I just don't know why they do it. Everybody seems to be entitled now. It's like I've said, it's the climate of our culture, and we're here to make it fun for them, and we're not going to let them put a monkey wrench into the gears.
I hear that. Don Bazuffi, thank you. Appreciate it. Trying to be a little more cordial out there at your sons and daughters' Little League games. We'll see if it works.
Coming up, we'll meet a 13-year-old boy from Oklahoma that has already reached a big milestone: college graduation. An Oklahoma teen just graduated from college with not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 diplomas. At 13 years old, his family says he's the youngest African American to graduate college with a degree in computer science and cybersecurity. Elise Jones has more.
Okay, this might take a long time.
A long list of accomplishments behind Elijah Muhammad's name.
So I have 10 IBM certifications through Coursera, have 1 Google IT certification. I have 4 diplomas from Oklahoma City Community College.
Elijah Muhammad. At just 13, he crossed the stage as a college graduate, making history.
First, I really didn't understand the full impact of it until my dad was fully explained it. It's like, you're really doing this, like you're the youngest to ever do it.
And while he may not be your typical 13-year-old boy,
also currently attend OSU, working on my bachelor's degree in cybersecurity and forensics. And I also attend Langston with a 4.0.
He says he still loves being a teenager.
As much accomplishments as I have, so I still go swimming, go outside, play basketball, and still have fun and stuff.
His family beams with pride at all he's done and what's to come.
Set your mind to that goal and don't let anything interfere with it. he is the smartest person I know. And it's like, regardless if you're older or not, it's like, I've never seen nothing like him.
A speaker,
That if you set your mind to it to complete it now, you don't have to worry about it doing it later.
a record holder, and a motivator.
If you want to put your mind to making a 4.0, you can do it. If you want to put your mind to winning a state championship, you can do it. You just got to put in the work that it takes to accomplish that.
The world at his fingertips.
Man, that's awesome. And that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with a video of an elephant splashing around in a bath. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.